The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X-Bacon Gamin'.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Joining me, as always, is the official assistant. Oh, wait, the official co-host, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I'm doing great. For those that don't know, I am actually getting ready to fly out to Disney World tomorrow morning. So I'm on spring break right now officially. My family is getting off to start their spring break early tomorrow. So it's exciting. There's a lot to do. There's people packing. It's kind of like the Home Alone house here right now. But I'm doing great, man. Excited to be here to chat about video games. It's been kind of a killer week in the news. And I'm going to segue. We have a great special guest joining us. Tell them about it, Dan.
That is absolutely right. It has been way too long since he graced us on the Nerd Chat. Actually, I think this might be his first official appearance on the new rebranding. Please welcome back fan number one. He's been there since day zero, episode zero. Please welcome back the Elden Lord himself, J Bizzle 002.
Moto surf!
Welcome, J Biz Moto Surf.
Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be here, and I've been rooting you on in your Elden Ring and Dark Souls tales you've been telling us. So it's been very, very exciting to hear you jumped on the bandwagon, and I've got you fully hooked. We just got to get you into Elden Ring, and we'll be set to. Or I'm sorry, Sekiro, and we'll be set.
That's next. Okay, I just got through Wolong. Let me just. I got to take a break. You know, you can't overdo it with these Souls games. Well, apparently you can because you're playing nonstop. We'll get into that later, JBiz. We have so much to talk about, but very quickly, I just want to shout out to the chat. Shout out to B. What's up? Thanks for tuning in, B. And I'm not sure if is that you writing that response? Is it? I don't even know.
Yeah,
We have so many people logged in. I don't know if that was Bacon. Bacon, by the way, I should probably mention that Bacon is already on vacation too. He is on a golf course somewhere in Arizona. Where is he, Jose?
He put it in the chat. It's like a dream golf course for him. It's like it's a bit of a bucket list for him. He and Nell finally went out. So he said it's been really awesome out there. He said they're in an Xbox fan hotel because there's all kinds of green accent lighting everywhere. So yeah, man, it's been good.
So shout out to Bacon. And so we have Bogus joining us. Bogus, are you going on any spring break trips this spring break?
Nope, just had a fourth kid. I'll be working.
Okay, good. Break. Yes, that's what I was going to say. I want to point out, Bogus, that you and me are not going on any trips. Okay, Jose's going, Chance went, Snelling's in Arizona. Everybody's going on these trips. Bacon. But where's old Wally and Bogus?
Yes, Bacon is at Dove Mountain in Tucson. It's a PGA Tour stop. And B in the chat is saying that he needs to stick to video games because he's seen him golf, which shots fired.
So, guys, let's jump into some Nerd Chat shoutouts, Jose. So I've got good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first, Jose?
I like to start with bad. I like to start bad and let's finish good.
The bad news. Or should I say kind of good news? We hit 100 subscribers, like our goal. But the bad news is...
Are we back down?
We lost 2 subscriptions. Bogus, I don't know why you told everyone to unsubscribe to us. We are back down to 98. So I'm begging everyone. Please resubscribe. We were at 100. We were going to celebrate on the 100th episode. So maybe this is how it's supposed to be. You know, we went back down. Hopefully we'll get those 2 back. I don't know what happened. I'm wondering who it could have been. Snelling. But, you know, I'm guessing that, you know, some people didn't like the reviews or Jose's unboxing of the Dead Space Collector's helmet back there. I don't know what's going on, but either way, we hope you come back, and I hope we get back to 100. So that's the bad news. The good news is we've got some huge TNC shout outs. And so first shout out goes to Pyron Hydron on YouTube for following us, and
Sweet.
Joe36607 for also subbing to the channel. And I also wanted to give a huge shout out to Mitchy Poo. First of all, for his amazing name. And second of all, he commented on our last video, our last conversation on how Xbox deserves more credit in gaming. He said, great chat and topic. So huge shout out to Mitchy Poo. Any of us know Mitchy Poo? Is this a real person? Is this a
I mean,
friend,
I
or is
know
this-
a couple of Mitch. I know a Mitch, but I don't think his name is Mitchy Poo. So I don't want to say that I do. But a Mitch, if we do know you, throw us a comment. Let us know, man.
Oh, by the way, B wanted to clarify that not baboon needs to stick to video games. He meant bacon. He wasn't calling bacon a baboon. So he wants to make that clear. But he also says, are you guys going to do anything special for the 100 show? We'll see. To be determined. I know you wanted to come over and cook us some steaks, B, and that would have been amazing. But with schedules, I don't know. I'd love to have Jay Biz back. I was already planning on having him and some of the others come back for episode 100. So it'll probably be a gathering of fans and hosts, and we'll go from there. I thought about asking someone to come on, Jose, but I was like, maybe we'll save that for another time. So that has been the Nerd Chat shout outs for the week. Guys, let's jump into Xbox news for the week.
News team, assemble!
So first story, and I'm going to try to combine them together. And this is all rumors. But rumor, and this was just going across the Twitter sphere. People are on those Twitter streets. You know how Bacon was all talking about this. It would appear. Oh, sorry. This is coming from Push Square from Sammy Barker, and there was an update as well. It would appear that Venom voice actor Tony Todd doesn't care much for the NDA he undoubtedly signed. Writing on Twitter, the star effectively confirmed that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is planned to release in September on PS5, with a massive ad campaign planned for the month prior. Hold on to your ... and hold on to your breath, he exclaimed. It's going to be necessary. And then if you go to check out this tweet, which I did, I remember seeing it when it happened, and there have been screenshots of it as well. But if you click on the link to the tweet, it does not exist anymore.
Somebody got in trouble, huh?
Tying into that, on the update to the article, seems like the legal department got a hold of Tony Todd after he revealed Marvel's Spider-Man 2's intended release date. Writing on Twitter, he said there'd be no more hints, and he posted a photo of himself in a swimming pool. My lips are underwater. And he says, blame it on jet lag or who knows. I might not even be #Venom. And I don't know if you guys see this picture of him, but it's very creepy, very terrifying. I'm trying to figure out where is this in his house? I mean, first of all, is that like a personal little mini?
It's his
What is
pool.
that?
It's like a
Is that
pool or a ice plunge or something.
Is
He
that
got
indoors
stairs there, so maybe
Yeah, and look at there's like a
basement?
door. Or no,
Huh.
because you can kind of
Like a
see the
lower
shower
level?
to the right, right? I don't know. Either way, his eyes look absolutely terrifying in this. And apparently this guy's the Candy Man or something, Jose. Is that correct?
Like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't recognize him from the Victor. But yeah, he was the. I mean, because Jordan
And
Peele
he's
actually
in
did a
Saw or
recent.
something too.
Oh yeah, he's been in a bunch of movies. He's been in a ton of movies actually. Yeah, he was the original Candyman when they did the movies in like the 90s. They're pretty creepy movies. They're worth checking out. But man, that is not who I recognize from that photo though. He looks terrifying in that one. And I guess he's terrifying in Candyman too, but in a different way.
So guys, there you have it. We already know that Starfield, Jay Biz and I's most anticipated game, I think for Jay Biz, is coming out. What was it? What is it? 9/6/23. Spider-Man rumored to be coming in September as well. I'm the only one of us who actually has a PS5, and I don't even know, Jay Biz, have you played Spider-Man? Before I go to you, and then I wanted to ask you as well, do you think this is a big deal if they release in the same month, or do you feel like, kind of different audiences, people have to have different systems, and most likely, even if they do come around the same time, I'm thinking Spider-Man, you'll beat that. That's not going to be as long or as engaging as of a game as Starfield potentially could be. So, what do you think of Spider-Man in general and the release date, Bogus?
Yeah, so I played the first Spider-Man 2 years ago. I borrowed my wife's cousin Alec. Shout out to Alec. He's got like every system. He's got like a whole collection from all the systems he's had, and he's a huge collector. So he's a big physical copy disc guy, and I'm kind of on the digital end. So Jose, I think you're a physical disc copy guy too. So you'd appreciate that. No, you're all digital.
Chances he was already a guy for a long time. He likes the physical copies.
So anyway, got to play that. Loved it. Great game. You're right, though. Not too long. Very enjoyable. I borrowed it again last year and played Miles Morales, and I ended up getting through probably like 60% of it and was really enjoying it, but then just got stuck into Bloodborne, and I wanted to get through Bloodborne before I gave it back to him. So I'd like to get back to it and finish it maybe next summer. And yeah, I'm excited. I think that, and I didn't know that Venom, I mean, I don't know if that's common news or if this is kind of a spoiler there, but I didn't know Venom was going to be in Spider-Man 2, but that's kind of what it looks like everybody's anticipating. Is that confirmed, or is that?
Yeah, the only trailer I think we've gotten for the game was of Miles
2 years ago.
and Peter. They're like standing there talking, and then they like turn and they look, and then like Venom's in the shadows or something like that. So yeah, it has been known that Venom's the bad guy. So
and, I don't think it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, JBiz, Bacon thanked you in the chat for being here. He just wanted to say a shout out to filling in for him, man. Go ahead and say what you're saying.
Anytime. It's hard to fill those shoes, Bacon, but I'm going to do my best so we can give it a go here. I think that that it's not going to be a big deal if they end up coming out at the same time. I mean, obviously you got two different consoles here. Pretty probably different. I don't know if I think there's probably definitely gonna be people who'll be playing both, but they'll just prioritize one and then play the other. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna cost them in sales, because anybody who's got that kind of money where they're sporting two systems or can play both,
good point.
They're just gonna buy them both, and they're gonna play whatever order they play them in. They're still gonna get their money. So I don't see it being that big of a deal.
And you can even argue, because Starfield's going to be on Game Pass, like, well, hey, now I don't have to buy Starfield, and I can buy Spider-Man. Jose, do you have any interest in Spider-Man? Like, I want to play it, but I'll probably just wait until it's on sale, like I did with the original Spider-Man. I still haven't played Miles Morales. I hear it's fun, but I'm like, I still have, like Bogus said, I actually have Demon Souls and Bloodborne on my PS5 right now, but it's just like, there's just not enough time, you guys. I can't. Bogus, you got to give me some credit, right? I've managed to beat the first 3 Dark Souls and Elden Ring 4 times on different systems. Like,
I was going to tell you, I haven't even beaten Dark Souls 2 yet. So you're actually like, you're starting to get close to surpassing me.
No, I think that's literally, dude, you're almost 1,000 hours in Elden Ring. Dan's nowhere near you, but
hey, who has?
He's got 4,000 out of 1,000s, or 3 of them at least. So that's impressive.
I have 2,000, 2 platinums. Dude, I've put some work in Elden Ring. Not as many hours, but efficiency. I'm pretty proud of that. But sorry, go ahead, Bogus.
Oh, no, go ahead, Jose.
You were asking me if I do want to play Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man as a character. I like his games. I like the first one. And it has been interesting hearing all the rhetoric from other shows and on the internet about people saying that it's gonna, like, Spider-Man will outsell Starfield. I mean, I don't really want to say either way. I don't know. I mean, I think,
well, I would think so, just because of the Game Pass. Like, that
the selling thing
sales.
Is the thing. Sales is not going to show that way.
Numbers,
in Game Pass,
players.
But concurrent players is probably how they're going to measure it. I mean, the other part you have to remember too, and this was the point that I heard that I guess did make sense, is like, Starfield is not a household name. Spider-Man is. I mean, literally from a kid that's 4 years old until grown. I mean, my mom knows who Spider-Man is. Your parents probably know who Spider-Man is. Like, everybody knows who Spider-Man is. So, like, someone getting into the gaming space is probably more likely to pick up Spider-Man as opposed to Starfield. But I also think that's a slightly weak argument, only because, like, your average mom isn't just like, oh, we need to waste money today, let's go buy a $70 game. Oh, Spider-Man. Like, I don't think that's a very, like, common thing that's going to happen. I'm actually just curious to see who will sell more. I don't think it matters either way. I think J-Biz made the right point that like people will probably just play both, and it depends the order that you want to play it. Like for us, obviously we're an Xbox show. Like we're gonna all be playing Starfield and loving it. But then yeah, eventually down the road, I definitely will play Spider-Man 2 because I love the content of the topic, and honestly, I hope it does well. I love Insomniac. I want them to do well. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm rooting for it to fail. I am going to be very curious to see if they do really come out about the same time, if that changes.
Yeah. I hope like it's like later in the month. Like if they did it on the same day, I'd be like, to me, that would be kind of disrespectful. It's like, I don't know, man. Like we should be celebrating each other's games and releases. And
Yeah.
I personally would be a little disappointed in Insomniac if they chose to release the same day as Starfield. I think that would be, like I said, that's just not good sportsmanship. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I would be severely disappointed because I am a huge Insomniac fan. Like that Sunset Overdrive, and I mean I enjoyed Spider-Man, but Sunset Overdrive will always hold a special place in my heart. So if they chose to be like that, I think that would be petty and a bad look. And I hope that it's a week or two or maybe towards the end of September, but who knows what Insomniac would do. Bogus, before I throw it over to the next story, you didn't tell me, is Starfield your most anticipated game this year? Or is there
Yeah.
something else?
I mean, they've now announced the Elden Ring DLC, but
Well, yeah, I know.
I don't know if you can compare DLC to a full-fledged game. And of course, with Bethesda, it's going to be massive. So yes, I mean, without a doubt. But I had to throw in a little, Elden Ring DLC obviously is gonna hold a special place in my heart. But I like I said,
I don't think
for
Elden
just
Ring's coming
brand
out
new
this
games.
year.
You don't think so, huh?
No, I don't think it is.
I think it probably will come in, for late in the year. But that's probably just the optimist in me hoping for it. So
Dude,
we'll
I
see.
don't know, man. Dude, if that does happen, we'll get Hi-Fi Rush, we'll get Starfield, Redfall, Spider-Man, Starfield, and dude, this might be like one of the greatest
Yeah, a banger
years
fall
of
for everybody,
Oh,
dude.
Resident Evil 4, Dead
Yeah.
Space already. I'm already forgetting. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. Like I can't. It's already. This is overwhelming. This
Well,
already is one of
an
the best
interesting
years
point
ever.
Bacon just made in the chat. He said he asked the question: Spider-Man 2 is only PS5, right? It's not backwards compatible at this point to PS4, or is it? Are they doing a PS4 version? I don't know the answer to that.
It's only PS5. Gosh, I hope it's only PS5. I think that. I
So
think people would be
that
mad.
he said that in context that it would limit sales, which I guess that does make sense, right? If you're PS5 only, but I guess now that the chip shortage
Only
is kind of
30
gone.
million. But here's the thing, Bacon. Starfield or Skyrim only sold 30 million. So it sold as many as Skyrim. So that's not, I think you're underestimating how big Spider-Man's the number one biggest PlayStation IP game that's ever sold on their system. Spider-Man
Even more than
1.
God of War?
Yes.
Really?
Spider-Man 1 is number one, and it's not even close. It's because of him being Spider-Man. It's Marvel. And it's kind of crazy too, because that's not even like its own unique IP. That is just a property that Sony happens to own, and
through Insomniac.
yeah,
But they did it right. I mean, that game
it's a dope game.
is
It's a
tight
fun game.
and it's
it's
fun.
good. I still would argue that Arkham Asylum, Arkham City is better to me in my eyes, honestly. But again, great game. Actually, I would actually say Sunset Overdrive is a better game than Spider-Man, but well done regardless. Insomniac games, they can't miss. They've been carrying PlayStation just like this year. Bethesda will be absolutely carrying Xbox as far as first party goes. Tying into this, guys, there were also rumors. I guess this is kind of news story number 2, tying into it since we're talking a little bit about PlayStation, Starfield, Spider-Man. So there are rumors going around that there might be a possible PS5 Pro in development. Okay. And before I go into that rumor, and we haven't heard anything from Xbox, or nobody's been saying anything, I do want to say shout out to Sacred Symbols Plus. Tom from Moore's Law is Dead talked about the rumors of the PS5 Pro, and also maybe what he thinks Xbox could do in response. And I wanted to bring this up to you guys because I found it really interesting. And this was at the end of the episode. Again, Sacred Symbols Plus, you'd have to be a Patreon member to listen to it, but it was really good at the end, specifically when he was talking about what Xbox could do. Because he's saying how there are some games that perform better on PS5, and it's not, the games aren't performing much better on Xbox as they should be, considering the actual power that the Xbox has over the PS5. And he said it had to do with with the memory. And I want to tell you, I went back and listened to this, and this was the quote from him towards the end. He's like, "This is what I think Xbox could do to do a lazy pro upgrade." He said all Microsoft has to do would be is he said is to give it 4 more gigabytes of RAM, remove a software implemented segmentation, and give it a unified 20 gigs of memory. This could boost this, and that, along with boosting CPU and overclocking that, could make the Xbox Series X almost 50% stronger. And he's like, it would be so much easier for games. It would outperform whatever the PS5 Pro could potentially do, unless they directly go in there and improve the hardware. And he's like, this is something Xbox could do. And he says he's heard small talks about it. And he's like, maybe this is a possibility. But having said all of that, you guys, do you think we need or do we want a mid-cycle refresh? And I'll throw it over to you, Jose. What do you think about what I just said there with some of the potential boosting in performance and what Xbox could do? Because he said it literally would be like a $20 thing, and they could seriously improve performance of the Series X.
So there's a couple answers to that question from my perspective. The obvious answer as just a fan is like, do we want one? Hell yeah, I want one. Why would I not want a better, faster, stronger Xbox Series thing, right? Why would I not want that? However, the rational side of me thinks about this in terms of opportunity cost, right? So a classic like economic ideal that says that like to have something you have to give up something else. And so the question then becomes, if we were to do this, which means we're devoting resources, we're devoting time, we're devoting efforts into making this mid-cycle refresh, what are we giving up for that? Right? The Xbox doesn't have infinite resources there. It's very finite. And so to put people on this means we have to give up something else. Now, granted, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that is at least imminent that I would really rather have that efforts go towards. It's not like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like it'd be cool to have like a Elite Series 3 controller, like assuming that they were the same teams working on that. I don't know if that's outweigh getting a stronger console. You know, I also think I do agree that you're right. Like adding 4 gigs of RAM is nothing, like in terms of computing, like expense, and 20 gigs more of memory. Like memory is very cheap at this point. Now, assuming the chip shortage is basically done, the question then becomes though, what's the price point on it? So it costs them $20. What happens to the price point of the Xbox, right? I think what would be very compelling, right? Assuming they could swing it and they could afford it, is like, let's say they drop the price of the Series X $100 and this comes out at the same price that it sells for now, right? Like that I think is
And
a
let me add, take away the disk drive on the original Series X that you drop down. So now you've got your digital version of Series
Mhm.
X. You still have the Series S at 300 or less, 250 make that.
Yeah.
And then like you said, maybe 550 for your machine. Keep going.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So you say like so just for the sake of an argument of a term, we say let's create the Series Y that is now actually 50, or actually let's say it's the same price as the current Series X, right? And then they create the Series R that's, I don't know, $200, but
Let me stop right there. Is that you think they're going to change the letters at the end?
no, I'm just for the sake of the argument, so we're not
Yeah,
saying like
I'm
new and
thinking
old.
maybe like Series X Plus or something, because I think the next
Dude, that's gonna look so
generation of,
stupid, an
well,
X and a
I know,
plus
but
right next
like,
to each
I
other
think
though.
what they're trying to do with Series is like the next console will be the Xbox Series Y and the Xbox Series Z. You would think. Who knows? Maybe they're still
I mean, dude,
stupid
they
and
went
they
from
do something
360 to
completely
1. So like I
different.
don't
Sorry,
there's not
go
a lot of
ahead.
rhyme or reason there. No, anyway, to answer a question and then pass it on to JB's. I would love to see a refresh. Now, granted, like would I buy it? I don't know. I mean, my Series X is still running really, really great at games. Like I have no complaints, especially playing Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy, and then also Wolong and stuff. I'm sure Resident Evil 4 is going to look great when I buy that when I get back. So it's not like I'm itching for a new console refresh, but it would be cool if they did it, and especially if it's at that right price point, it might compel me to upgrade. And last thing, and I'll pass it to JBiz, I would love to see some freaking special editions. Like if there was a dope special edition to go along with Senua, to go along with Starfield, to go along with like some of these new drops coming out, that would be even more compelling. And I know that sounds stupid because it's just paint on the case, but like that matters when you're talking about people that are upgrading for a specific reason. So that's what I'd like to see. JBiz, what about you?
when you guys were talking about the names, all I kept thinking was Xbox box, Xbox One box, and just have you guys seen that meme
Yeah,
that
the
just
Yeah.
keeps
meme, yeah.
building?
Xbox and the
Oh,
Xbox
who
box.
knows what meme they'll come up with next? But yeah,
Sh
the names
shout
and Xbox.
shout out to B. He says he votes for Xbox Series B, of
For
course,
bacon.
obviously.
And
Go
beef,
ahead,
sorry.
Bogus. Do you want a mid-cycle refresh? Are you ever gonna buy a PS5? Because if I were you, I wouldn't. If you have a way to just borrow one, Bogus, I think that's the way to go. Dude, I'd let you borrow mine right now because it's just
Yeah.
sitting there. So
Yeah. No, I think I got a pretty good deal going where I can just kind of borrow one when I want. And, to be honest with you, I play more games than I should anyway. And so it's just, I'll probably just keep borrowing one and wait to buy one. As far as the mid-series upgrade, I mean, I'm a sucker. So if there was, I'd probably get it. Right now, I sent you guys a video the other day of my game room. I got a little game room set up
It
for
looks
the
rad, dude.
viewers.
I
Yeah, yeah,
saw
yeah.
all
So
your
I've
kids
got
playing in there. Is awesome, man.
yeah. So I got a game room, and my 10-year-old was playing one and then right next to her is her sister, and they're 8 years old playing, and I got a 5-year-old who's up and coming. He's turned into a little gamer too. So I figure I'm gonna probably need another Xbox down the road anyway. So I would love a mid-series upgrade. But I also think it feels a little early for that. Just on the pass, I feel like it's usually about 3 to 4 years when you see that. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's been
dude,
a
we're
while
almost
since
3 years in though,
I was like, it's
Bogus. It will be
2020 though,
3
right?
years in November. I know it doesn't feel like it because we haven't gotten the games
I
really that have
know.
pushed it, right?
Well, and a lot of people are still waiting to get the system, right? And I know in America we haven't had that problem, but I imagine there's places, internationally where they're still having a hard time getting those Xboxes in. The way we are with the PlayStations. I don't know. But yeah, super excited for whatever they decide to do because faster is always better, right? And you'll have enough suckers out there like me and you
Like me
two who are
too.
gonna buy that, and it'll
Huge
it'll
sucker
make it
right
worth
here.
it. Yep, yeah, we're all
We all
suckers.
say we wouldn't get it, but we absolutely would. And here's the thing, I just think that's how we are. We're just console people. I know Bacon's been really pushing hard on us for this PC and having that 3070, which by the way, guys, I sent it back. I no longer have the desktop. And
Really?
here's why. It was very Elden Ring was incredible. Bacon, or Bogus, I was playing 4K 60 and it looked fantastic and ran smooth and it was an amazing experience. But at the same time, I wanted a little bit more, and I knew that 3070 wasn't gonna provide it.
That's how they get
S
you, bud.
I know exactly, and so this is why I would get the top of the line console because I do want that extra performance, but also because there are little things, Bacon, and I know you love your PC, and I know you're watching and listening, there are just little things that go wrong sometimes where I'm like, "Why is it not full screen right now? Why am I not getting any sound right now? Why is it stuttering? Why is this?" And Alan's like, "It's gotta be optimized." And those little things, Bacon, start to drain on me where I just turn on my Xbox and it works and it runs well. And I turn on my PS5 and it works and it runs well. I don't have to worry about these drivers or getting game ready drivers or these little things that just kind of make me like, I
But
just
that's
rather
the hobby side of it though, right? That's the
the
like
convenience of the
it's like
console.
being a mechanic as a hobby versus buying a new car and not, right? Like so you buying a new car it just works and everything's great. A mechanic is like I buy a car that doesn't work and I enjoy the process
Yes.
of fixing and upgrading. It's the same with the PC, right? So you have to be into that life a little bit as well.
And I get that because trust I'm still contemplating like, do I have Bacon buy me build me this PC? Or do I just wait for this Xbox Series X, which will probably put it on par to like a 3070 or a 3080 at best? I don't know, Bacon. I'm really struggling with it. And then at the same time, though, like my laptop here, we'll talk about this later. I'm playing Skyrim at 4K 60 on high settings, and it's on my old 1660 Ti, and it's incredible. So it's like I don't know, like the performance gains you get for that PC versus the Xbox. Yeah, I notice it, but at the same time, Bacon, the Series X looks pretty dang good on my TV. And I gotta say, the TV makes a huge difference. When I'm playing Skyrim on my OLED versus when I'm playing on one of these monitors, I'm like, it's crazy, Bogus. Like it really does add to the experience. And you know me, I was like against it at first, but like that contrast really helps and the depths of the colors. So I got to shout out the OLED. I got to shout out the Series X and the PS5. They're phenomenal machines for the price. And I'm not quite sold on getting that mega PC just yet. But who knows if things start to go real cheap as people spend less money and chip shortage is over, who knows? Maybe I'll probably have Bacon build me.
Well, I think it was Chance who said it a while ago that you know, I kind of agree with him that the whole thing with the PC is the FOMO piece. And I mean, look at us. Every time a console comes out, I feel like I gotta have it, right? And I know that if I went to PC, I'd be just like Chance. It'd be like, oh, I gotta get the new one. Like you just sent yours back because you're like, it's not good enough, right? I maybe can get the next upgrade.
Yeah, and I would just say I just want to clarify that it wasn't that I felt like I had to have the next best thing. I just started to see the limits of what I was getting. And to be fair, I got a great deal on it. And honestly, I probably should have kept it because of the price I paid for it, just to have it. Like it would last me a long time. But I know that I would want more. And if I want more, I need to pay a little bit more. And I need to invest in like some of the top of the line GPUs right now. And I don't know, maybe that'll change. But again, that's not what's the wanting the next best thing and the concerns of that aren't really my issue. It's just these little things where I'm like, why isn't this quite working? I don't want to have to fine tune everything. I just want it to work. I want it to be like plug and play. And I guess that's why I'm a console guy. Like
Get a
Jose
Mac,
said.
bud.
Oh yeah, right. That's not what I want for gaming. If I want to just okay, if I want an overpriced Mac to surf the internet and look at YouTube like the 100% of people who own MacBooks, yeah, that's what I'll do.
As you said, plug and play, bud. If that's what you want.
My PC works freaking phenomenal since the day I've had it. My laptop is.
Well, I just want everyone to know out there that this entire show is powered by a Mac right now. So take that.
And before that, it was completely powered by my HP Omen 15. So don't let Jose tell you that this is
not an OBS, but not here where we're living right now.
I know. I'm not having this discussion. I know my laptop could easily do this.
I'm just egging you on. I'm just egging
let's move on to the next story. And this is we've got a few actually sad stories coming up here. So I'll start with a serious one. Seriously, this made me sad when I saw this, and this isn't exactly, I guess, Xbox and gaming related. Well, it actually kind of is.
Oh, it is. It is.
Actor Lance Riddick, the star of Destiny, The Wire, and also Quantum Break, everyone forgets about. He died just, what was it, last week at age 60, supposedly of natural causes. Everyone saw this going around. This made me so sad because one, I'm a huge fan of The Wire, or his performance in The Wire. I'm a huge fan of what he did in Quantum Break. Actually, I don't know if I played Quantum Break first or watched The Wire, but he's been in all kinds of shows, video games, and of course, a lot of people know him from Destiny as Zavala. I meant to get on Destiny 2 to go pay my respect and go visit him at the tower, and I'm sure I will go have a moment of silence over there. So I just wanted to say rest in peace, Lance Riddick. This made me very sad because, like I said, I was a huge fan of his work and those things. So Jose, go ahead, take it away.
No, the only thing I'll add, other than of course very sad, is that I think what hurts more than a lot of things is that he still had so much potential to do so much more.
Yeah.
And he was as far as video games go, he was definitely a pillar in terms of that community. And so it's kind of like in the same
like
thing.
An active gamer. Like I guess he was like on Destiny that day or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like he was a pillar of the community. So to lose him felt like, man, we lost so much. And of course, just a great person. I also will add, I know you didn't say it, he was in that new Resident Evil movie that was on Netflix, The Show. I loved The Show. I know a lot of people hated it. I know it didn't get good reviews. I know it didn't get renewed.
You liked him in that too, though.
But
I guess
he was great in it. And it was a really, he plays
B.
in John Wick, which is super dope, they're great films, right? So really sad, man. You know, I hope his family's doing all right. I just hope that they hear from our community, definitely from us here at the show, that we not only appreciate everything he's done, but also are grateful for what he's given us, and we'll always think highly of him.
Well, speaking of that, Jose, I did want to say on his Twitter account, his family, they made a comment, and they actually specifically shouted out all the Destiny 2 players in their statement. So they definitely can feel it loud and clear. Yeah. J Biz, and do you have any memories of Lance or?
Just, you just mentioned it. I was just going to mention John Wick. I don't know if you can mention him in this community and not mention John Wick, because so many people who are gamers love movies, action movies like that. And he was great in that. And I remember playing Quantum Break and just thinking it's like I'm watching a movie because they paid, top tier actors to play those roles. Sorry. And he was great in it, phenomenal. And his voice acting is very, very good in everything he does. So yeah, But John Wick is probably one of the biggest things. I haven't watched The Wire yet. One of these days I'm going to sit down and watch that. But yeah, I'll I know you love it, so I might have to check it out.
Here's the thing, it's a sad show. You got to be in the right state of mind for this, and it's a slow burn, but it's stuck with you. I remember watching it, I was like, man, this is kind of boring. I'm like, I don't know what's going, is this really that good? But then right when it ended, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It's very bizarre, very typical probably of HBO shows for most of us, so I do highly recommend it. Very just gritty and real. So go ahead, Jose.
No, I just wanted to also, we also earlier, not this year technically, but like we also lost like Kevin Conroy, right? And so like this feels similar in that same vein of like, it's not like necessarily if you said the name Lance Reddick that the average person on the street is gonna like immediately put a face to that, but any gamer out there is gonna like so many instances where he touched our lives and what we do. So just grateful for him, man, and sorry and sad that we're losing some great people like this, but we're grateful to have had him do what he did for us for sure.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, Lance. Let's move into another sad story here, guys. Battlefield Legacy sunsetting announcement. As we close in on 15 years since the release of Battlefield 1943 and Bad Company 1 and 2, we are announcing that their journey is coming to an end. And this is coming from EA themselves at EA.com. Starting April 28th, 2023, Battlefield 1943 and Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2 will be removed from digital storefronts, and you will no longer be able to purchase them. This is in preparation for the retirement, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, of the online services for these titles, which will happen on December 8th, 2023. For BadCo 1 and 2, you can still continue to play them and use their respective offline features, such as single-player campaign, but you will no longer be able to play after December 8th, 2023. Again, I just want to shout out Bad Company and Bad Company 2. These hold a special place in our hearts for multiplayer, possibly maybe one of the best multiplayer games we've ever played. And I just want to read the quick little description of Bad Company that EA wrote. Marlowe, Sweetwater, Redford, and Haggard, 4 names that will resonate a lot with you as Battlefield Bad Company introduced an iconic and relatable bunch of troublemakers who risked it all and went AWOL to pursue a personal quest. Not only has the cast and their story piqued your interests, but their endless pursuit of gold bars as you battled it out through Gold Rush, a mode that is now called Rush, added a new core mode to the Battlefield franchise. It wouldn't be Bad Company without referencing the lovable but deadly Smiley grenade did too. The sentence doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, and then Bad Code 2, the band got back together for what they thought would be their final mission with Bad Company 2, which involved them going behind enemy lines. However, upon completion, they were tasked with heading towards South America on what became an increasingly riskier but also mysterious mission. Bad Code 2 was the first time PC players were introduced to this band of military outcasts. I didn't know that. I didn't know Bad Company 2 was the first time for PC, alongside new improvements coming to the Frostbite engine. Again, Battlefield Bad Company 2 might be my number one all-time multiplayer game that I've ever played. So many memories of Rush on that with Pony, with you, Jose, with all the guys. It was just so much fun to play with the environments, the destructibility, the open-endedness of everything. The sniping felt so good. I was such a good sniper on that. And then I had my MP443 garage handgun that I could also destroy people with. I remember Jose flying the little helicopter and putting a bunch of C4 on there and then destroying people's bases and the Rush treasures and everything like that. So again, this is sad for us. We were huge fans of Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2. Especially Pony. Pony's gonna be devastated. I don't know what he's gonna be able to play online because this is literally he's one of the few dozens that still play this online. So shout out. I will say though, I did mention this in our own personal nerd chat that the redone maps in Battlefield 2042, they feel pretty dang good.
They're pretty awesome.
And
They're pretty
we
dope.
have a fun time on them too. So it's not like it's completely gone. Like, and I actually really appreciate them allowing us to use the normal characters and classes from 2042 in the maps. I remember initially when it launched in Portals, you had to use, like, they tried to redo the characters from the original,
ones
and
from the
it didn't
originals,
feel right. It didn't play well. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Battlefield 2042 before I throw it to Jose. August, did you play these with us? I can't remember. Do you have any memories, or were you like, no, you're playing the first Dark
No,
Souls?
I played Battlefield the Bad Company 2, but just the campaign. At that time, I don't know if you remember when you and I first met, I didn't even have a gold membership to Xbox Live. I was just a silver guy, and it was Mass Effect 3 that kind of won me over to the
Tip those
multiplayer
scales,
sphere.
man.
So yeah. So and then it was downhill. So yeah, this is a little bit before my time with the online gaming, but I loved the campaign. I mean, I played that campaign, and it was a lot of fun. It was one of the first person shooters I had played on my, let's see, what that would have been a 360, right? Or was
It
I,
was
I might have played that
360.
on, yeah. And at that time I was not very much into first person shooters. I was much preferred like SOCOM. Remember SOCOM, Navy SEALs, like that was kind of my life. I love the third person shooters, but I really
That
enjoyed
was
that game
third
as a first
person.
person. Yeah. But so anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. But and you asked about Pony and what he's going to play, and the answer is just Morrowind. He's going to
Yeah.
play more Morrowind.
And they
Right?
get him Oblivion,
And
and it's a whole
Oblivion.
new world,
Dude,
bud.
it's funny. I give it to him. At least he's playing something he loves to play. Like that's the positive of it. But I really want him to try Fallout, you guys. Like I really think
I
he
think
would
he dig
love
Fallout, bud.
Fallout, but he keeps saying it's too scary. Was it ever that scary at all? Like I don't think so. Like
No.
spooky and great
He
mood,
played
like
Friday the
setting.
13th for 6 years, bud. That's infinitely more scary than anything
Anyway,
in Fallout.
Jose, what would you like to say as we say goodbye to Bad Company 2 on 360 and PC?
Dude, honestly, like, I mean, the realistic side of me says, games don't last forever, right? And as much as I have great memories from it, I'm excited that we have so much more that we can play now. Like, I love that on any given night we can jump on Halo and we can jump on Modern Warfare and jump into Battlefield 2042. And I'm grateful. I guess that's a sentiment I would say. You asked the question of what do I want to say. I'm very grateful for Bad Company 2 because truly, and I've said this before in the show, that is what brought me back to gaming with my friends, especially Dan. Because I mean, obviously we've known each other for a long time, but like we never gamed together really until Bad Company came out, and it was when I was living with Chance and stuff. And it just I have such great core memories of just like, what are we doing this weekend? Are we going out partying downtown? Nope. We're all going to sit together. And we had the most fun weekends laughing, and Alan as our freaking Apache helicopter driver, and everybody just having a great time in Bad Company, man. It was just a really, really fun time. So grateful for those experiences, but hopeful for the future, and excited to see what EA does next.
Godspeed, Battlefield 1943 and Bad Company 1 and 2. Guys, let's go into some quick / positive stories, I guess, towards the end of the week. I'm going to skip that idea at Xbox One. We don't need to talk about that. I wanted to talk about speaking of multiplayer games in Halo, the Fracture Firewall event launch is going on now. Jose and I have already done it. We're probably already almost, Jose, I think you probably wouldn't finish the first 10 events, didn't you?
I
think
did
you're
it
putting
today,
in work
actually. Yeah.
without us. Yeah. So Fracture Firewall begins today. This is coming from Halo Waypoint. Spanning 4 weeks throughout season 3, Fracture Firewall brings with it a free 20-tier event pass full of customization items for the Chimera armor core. Unlike previous Fractures, there is no event-specific playlist that players have to engage with. Simply jump into whatever you want to complete the Firewall-themed event challenges and progress your event pass. And again, you can do this. It is each week you'll have a chance to unlock 10 tiers. There's 20 tiers total, and you'll have 4 weeks to do this. It is between March 21st and 20th, so going on right now, April 11th through the 18th, May 23rd through the 30th, and the last chance you'll be able to do it is June 13th through the 20th. So again, if you get to your first 10 tiers in 1 week, then you only have to do it one more week out of the 2.
Mhm.
Jose, what do you think of this event? Because I know you've already completed it. Are you happy with it? Pretty easy to do, right? I thought it was. I really like that they're like, hey, just complete these challenges wherever you want, play the game modes you want, and I actually really appreciate that. So talk
Yeah,
to me.
that's been my favorite part of it. Well, actually, there's 2 parts, which I'll talk about the other one in a second. I really like that it's open ended. That you just for example, one of the things is like I had to get a bunch of kills with either like the assault rifle, the BR, basically all of the UMSC weapons, and then the other one was to do with hard light or electric weapons. So like it wasn't a specific gun, it wasn't a specific thing like a behind the back kind of kill or anything like that, which is great because it's not like I hate doing those things, but it's frustrating when they're like, you have to get a kill with the sniper. And you're like, dude, I'm on a map where there's only one sniper and I can never get to it. And so it's not like I wasted 20 minutes, but like if I'm trying to get through these things efficiently, you just can't do that. So I really appreciate that they revisited that, made it very attainable. When we got on last night, we were playing. It was me, Dan, and Alan. We had a blast, man. Like we had a rockets mode. We did all kinds of stuff that was really great. The new maps have been super rad, man. I do want to see a little bit more rotation of all the maps. Like I think it's cool that they highlight 3 to 4 in each of the events, but like especially as they have these kind of new game modes and they're encouraging us to play. I like that I love the randomness. Like I love that last night we played games
that big team battle, like Fiesta or whatever it was.
I did. I thought that was fun. I wouldn't want to do that all the time, but a big team battle with Fiesta was fun for one of the matches. And then it was like one flag, and then it was capture the flag, and then it was oddball. Like I like that there's that variety piece of it. I still think down the road, I would love to be able to really, really hone in on a specific type of game to play. Right. So for example, Mitchy Poo just joined the chat. Held up, Mitchy Poo.
Yeah, Mitchy Poo. We just shouted you out earlier.
The other thing was that we know you're a real bud. Sorry, I'm not for the listeners on these. I swear I'm real. We know you're a real bud. Welcome. Anyway, I like the modes. The other thing I want to mention that I love about the Halo thing real quick, and then I'll pass it on, is that for this special event, this is brand new to Halo. If you complete the 20-tier event in the 4 weeks, you actually get a code sent to you in your email, and then you can submit that code on the Xbox store, and you can actually earn a pin, like a real-life metal pin that you can earn for completing the thing, which is super dope, right? And I think about Dan's trench jacket that he got, like super sweet to add that there. I put it on like my messenger bag for work, and I just can't wait to like wear that one day. And a kid that plays Halo season is like, you played that event? We're like, yep, I just made a new best friend for life right there. So excited to see what they're doing, man. I've heard a lot of people say this. Ain said it over on Season Gaming too. Halo feels so much fun again, right? It just feels like we're having a great time. It's not lagging. We love the armor stuff, though. I know that Dan is still like on all the shaders, on all the things.
Yeah, and there's still some. They're having the 60 frame, 120 frame hertz. They're having issues they got to fix.
It would definitely be nice to have that. But otherwise, I'm having a great time. So anyway, J-Biz, what do you think, man?
Oh, but well, before I thought to you, you haven't played any multiplayer, have you? Or you just played?
Yeah.
Have you gone back and done co-op?
No, so I'm co-oping it through with my daughter right now, and so
talk to us.
Yeah, so all I've done is just jumping on hers because she wants to beat it on normal. At least she did. This was like late last year. She was like, Dad, I really want to try to beat this. I said, well, just put it on easy. She's like, no, I think I could do it on normal. So she got stuck. She was struggling. Those
bosses.
So I co-opted in with her and kind of carried her through. So we're not too far into it. We got a long ways to go. So I've done some co-op with her, and it's been fun.
Have you been grapple shotting each other around?
Yes. I showed her how to do that. She thought that was like the coolest thing. And by the way, just real quick before I forget, Riley wanted me to shout her out on the show so she can get on YouTube and see her name. So Riley, shout out to Riley.
Shout out
to Riley. Riley's 10 years old.
Strong.
She's a huge gamer already. She loves playing, the game she likes to play, and I just can't play it no matter how much I love her, is Roblox, man. I just cannot get into Roblox. I keep telling her, I said, Roblox is just every game in there. There's a better version out there. It's just a crappy version of some real game that's out there that's better. And I'll find. So anyway, she loves Roblox. She loves this game called Pet Simulator. So she wanted me to say that. But anyways, we play that. And then we get on and we play the multiplayer too. And she struggles with that. She's much better at Fortnite. She's actually pretty good at Fortnite. So she's figuring it out. And she just wants Halo is tough. And so, but this was a few months ago when we started playing. She had her first match where she had a positive kill death ratio. Dude. And I was just think Stelling's ever 10 years old, like that was pretty impressive. So she just went on one of those.
I don't know. Bacon gets positive these days. So yeah, shout out to Riley. Guys, let's close out the news with, again, we gotta cater J-Biz here. Let Me Solo Her plays a modded Elden Ring run where every enemy is Malenia. And I remember seeing this article pop up or seeing someone tweet about it like as it was happening. And you bet your buns, I stopped what I was doing at work and immediately went to check out this stream of him fighting every single enemy being Malenia. And it's wild, you guys, because you forget for the most part, yes, you can just run by majority of the enemies in Elden Ring. But then some of these bosses, JBiz, like think we're the ones where you have to face two of them. Two millennias at the same time. I don't know how he's gonna do it. It's pretty crazy. So I think I saw him beat the millennia the where what's the first boss called again?
Margit.
Margit. Yeah. So he beat the millennia version of Margit at first, and then he had to stop and like he was doing some other stuff. But he has some rules on himself as well. He can't level up vigor. That's one of his goals is to not level up health at all. Exactly. And then there was a couple of other things, but I have to say, you guys, if you get a chance, you need to watch this. So for context, for those of you who don't know, Let Me Solo Her is this famous player who got so obsessed with beating Malenia after getting destroyed by her over and over again in the game when it first launched that he made it his life goal basically to just get perfect at beating the hardest boss in the game. And he got so good to the point where he would send out his summon sign right before the boss, and
He would just help
his
people. He would
yeah,
help
and he would
people
just
beat
say
her.
really his name was Let Me Solo Her, basically being like, "Do not intervene. I can take care of this all on my own." Like he was that good. And sometimes it's funny because if I've seen some like documentaries about him and how you see some players try to get involved and then they die, and it's like, of course, like, dude, just listen to me. I can handle it. But like his skill is incredible. He obviously knows every single move that Malenia does, which of course I don't know because I would just run away like a sissy and just keep my distance at all times. The waterfall, how he dodges that consistently every time. Basically, JBiz, you just need to back up a bunch and then go at her at like a certain degree and angle on the third waterfall attack. But it's so impressive to watch, you guys. It is so cool because one, I know I will never be that good, and two, just the amount of skill that he shows just on every enemy is truly impressive. I can't wait to see him face a boss in a small area where there's two of them because I don't know if he's going to be able to do this. So Bogus, you are our Elden Lord even more than me. Um, what do you think of this challenge? And also, let's just jump right into what have we been playing and or watching, Bogus. I wanted to ask you, tying into that, what are you still doing in Elden Ring these days? Like, I gotta know what is going on. Like, I mean, I've played a lot too, Bogus. Are you clearing the map? You got to let us know. So, talk to us about this Millennia run and talk to us about what you're playing with Elden Ring and also Intel. I want to hear your impressions on Wolong as well.
So yeah, so there's a lot there. So a couple things, and first, the Let Me Solar Her deal is just that guy is ridiculous, right? I mean, how many people out there can take a boss and just, I mean, he knows every detailed move. And the thing about Malenia, and this is true with some of the Souls bosses, even when you know what's coming, it's still difficult to get that
Mhm.
timing right. Like that waterfowl dance that she does. So I a little, personal pride here coming out. I made it one of my goals to beat Malenia without any summons.
Did you do it?
Uh, I did. I've done it a
Oh my,
number of
and
times now, but
he's a freak.
but
Well,
it
what he's using other spells. He has to be buffing like crazy.
so the first time I did it, what I used is a shield for the waterfall dance, because what you can do is if you get your if you get your armor up enough, you can basically block the whole first attack, and then you can roll through her and then roll again, and it's actually much easier than what he does. It doesn't take nearly the skill that he does when he just perfectly times it. And then I use the to be honest with you, I can't even remember now, because now every time I play her, I make it a point to beat her with whatever playthrough I'm going through. And sometimes it'll take me up to an hour, even though I know exactly what's coming because I'm using a different weapon, and I still every time have had to go back to the shield. I cannot figure out that waterfowl dance and how to like dodge around. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Let Me Solar Her. Just unbelievable. And so I don't know if you mentioned it, but they sent him. If you looked at the tweet, they actually sent him a sword because he beat
Mhm.
Malenia 1,000 times. So they sent him to his house a physical sword, and it says "Rise Tarnished." It's pretty cool. So anyway, um, I honestly haven't been playing Elden Ring. You caught me playing Elden Ring tonight, which is the first time I've logged in probably in 3 weeks, because I've been playing Wolong. So I kind of took a break from Elden Ring and have been playing Wolong. I just tonight, after the kids went down, before I got on here, I started the I think his name's UG, but it's one of the Black Taoist or whatever they call him, the guy who turns into the dragon. So I beat his first phase really quick, and I only had like 3 chances to try to beat that dragon, and I haven't figured it out yet. So that's where I'm at. I think I'm pretty close to the end, Dan. Is that about right?
Yeah, he's like second to last, right?
Yeah, and I'll jump in right there. I beat him on my first try. I just want to point that out there. Okay, very
So
lucky.
So I beat his first phase, but I definitely
Yeah.
did not beat his second phase.
The second phase, I was just he was just flying around me, and I would just wait. I was like, this is a very very spectacle fight, but I didn't think it was the worst. I will say though, the next boss drove me insane. I
Is that the
thought
blindfold? The
yes,
blindfolded kid
yes. I
that
don't
you got
want
to
to
fight
have any
again?
spoilers, but yes, that was to me because you can't have anything. It's just mano a mano on that one. So, go ahead. So talk to me. Speaking of Wolong, what do
Harder
you
than
think?
Lu Bai? Harder than Lu Bu?
Harder than
Lubu?
Lubu? To me, yeah, that was
Oh
to me
boy.
for
Oh
me.
boy.
For me, a lot of people hate Lubu, but I feel like I have also heard people hated Lubu and people hated the last boss. So
Okay.
I can hear that. So tell me what you think of Wolong. Is it I, I have to say this. I think I mentioned this before on the show. I think it's difficult, JBiz. I don't know these people saying that it's like necessarily that much easier than a Souls game. I would argue that Dark Souls 1 and no, not 3, but Dark Souls 1, maybe 2 if you like just use magic the whole time are way easier than Wolong is at times. Like you really have to spend time with the spirit attacks and just you have to get that dodge down or that parry or deflection down. So go ahead, tell me
Deflection.
what you think of Wolong.
So I would say the reason Dark Souls 1 and 2 felt easier at times is because they're so similar to Elden Ring and to Dark Souls 3. So once you've spent so much time learning the roll mechanics, and you don't parry, I know you still can't stand parrying, but once you figure out the parrying, man, it just adds a whole new dynamic. But
You
that's
wait, Boggers, I gotta interrupt you right now. You parry regularly in Elden Ring?
I do now. Yeah, I've
Dude,
just put
this
so
guy
much time
a
into it.
whole nother level.
He
Yeah, I was
is the
just
elder, Dan. I'm
it
sorry.
takes
Not you, bud.
it's too long. It's like I can never get the timing right on attacks.
So the
It's not
trick
like
is
that's where I have to say Wolong, I get the parry in this. Like
yeah.
it's quick and it happens and as long as you're going to get it. Whereas in Elden Ring or Dark Souls, I never feel like I'm timing it correctly. Like that specifically the first Dark Souls, I didn't parry at all. And then in that last boss, you have to
You
parry
have to
or you're
parry.
going to die. And
Yeah.
so I had no trouble up until that last boss because I had not done a single parry up until it. But go ahead, Marcus, go ahead.
And Dark Souls 1 is by far the most forgiving on the parrying. Like you do not have to be very accurate in Dark Souls 1 compared to the others. But the reason and Sekiro, that's what you're going to learn. Is Sekiro is very similar to Wolong in that the parrying is right on the time. It's right when it hits. Whereas with Elden Ring, it's you got to hit it just before, and what you're really looking at is not the sword. You're looking at kind of this hand motion. But I just have learned the bosses so well that it was just brute force trying over and over and over again. And that's what 800 hours of Elden Ring will do for you, is you learn how to parry right and beat Malenia, without a summons. But I do think Wolong is hard. I think it's very difficult. I played Neo and Neo 2, and I didn't get all the way through Neo 2 because I had to give the PlayStation back, but very similar in a lot of ways. The difficulty of that game is up there too. So I don't think that this game is as hard, I guess, as Elden Ring. If I was going to pick one for my kid to try to go beat, I'd probably pick this one, but my kid isn't going to beat this one. You know what I'm saying? It's that hard. It's
Not a
just,
chance.
it's just a very difficult game. And
Between Wolong and Neo, which one's more difficult to you? Neo 2?
Neo 2 has had some really tough bosses, and it's hard for me to say because I didn't make it all the way through. I probably got 30 hours in. Of the 30 hours I played, I would say they're probably right there with each other. But some people made it sound you're right, like Long was nothing, and I'm like, I spent 2 hours on Lubu, but you know what? I spent 4.5 on Malenia trying to beat her. So, you know what I'm saying? So I do think Elden Ring is harder, but man, I mean. And to be honest with you, if I besides Lubu, I don't think that the game has been too bad. Now I haven't taken on this blindfolded boy, and I've heard that that's going to be quite a fight too. But I don't feel like I spent more than, I think that the weird cow looking thing with the four arms,
Oh
that
my
thing
God.
took me like an hour. That thing
Dude,
was
that one
It
was the
was
worst.
terrible.
I had to beat that with a rando, and it took us forever. And it was
Terrible.
basically me versus him. The other guy was just running away because he was just worthless.
that was
So
so tough.
but then you
That
fight those things again, right?
Yeah,
Like
he showed up in
randomly?
one of the the
yeah,
escalating
but not
ones.
nearly as not nearly
No,
as
no,
hard.
yeah. And then, well, I think I could do a way better job against him too. Have you been doing it? Are you going to go for the 1,000 on this Bogus?
No,
Because there's going to be like one where you just go through a gauntlet of enemies. So I'm just going to warn you right now. That was also a hard part for me
Yeah.
that I had to do. So one of the training areas. Sorry,
no,
go
I
ahead.
won't be going for 1,000. I've enjoyed the game. I don't think I enjoyed enough to go back and play it again.
Yeah, I agree.
But man, I mean, what a great game for Game Pass.
Oh,
Let me just
yeah.
shout out Game Pass again, right? Amazing game. And like, it's a game that, like Jose says, I don't know if Jose would have paid money and played that game. And I
Mhm.
know you probably have. I know it sounds like you're probably hitting your point of no return here soon. But I enjoy it, and I'm gonna finish it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm excited. So the only other thing is, if we're throwing out what we've been playing, is I haven't played it yet, but I did just see the the open beta starts on the 24th for Diablo 4.
Diablo.
So I'm definitely, I just downloaded that, and and I haven't played any Diablos. I haven't played Diablo 3. I haven't played anything. So I'm very
Bogus.
excited for this
I
to
would,
be kind of my
dude.
entry into Diablo.
I honestly think he should play 3, but I think I've told you to play 3 before, but for some reason you never bought it. Before I throw it over to Jose, uh, Bacon says, "Screw Wolong, I quit." And so, dude, and I don't blame you, Bacon. It's rough. I'll say the hardest boss for me, that first one, that was I quit the first night, went back to it, beat it the second night, just barely. And I was like a sliver away from death, and I didn't know what the summon button was. His health was low too, as it was, and I was like, "What do I do to summon? What do I do to change form?" And then I randomly got lucky with that. Then Lubu, and then that last guy, and then that gauntlet of enemies. So Bogus, you'll be surprised. Jose is doing work in Wolong. I'm actually thoroughly impressed with how far. I think Jose's. Tell us where you are, Jose. So tell us what else you've been playing as well.
So other than the Halo event, which was super rad, I'll definitely, if our friends are on Halo, I'll play Halo. If they're back to Modern Warfare, I enjoy playing that too. I'm just not as good at it. I'm basically like I make everyone stronger because they have to carry me, basically. But in terms of Wolong, I will say this. If I'm being very honest, I'm probably reaching my done point with it. I'm at the boss right now that something Zhang, where he's got the high wings. He's not the fire wings, but he's all electrical and thunder and stuff. And as Cordy Morgs put it, he has just been clapping my butt
Yeah.
all day, dude.
That's another cheater. I remember one guy with the build I'm going with. He's like, except for Lubu and that guy with the electricity, he's like, those guys are cheaters, and you can't do anything. You can't
Dude, I mean,
them.
just like I spent, because I'm on vacation and I've been trying to do a bunch of house projects and stuff, and I spent an hour and a half on him today, and I was like, I can't do this. Like I'm gonna spend my whole day before the last day before we go on this trip messing with this idiot that is just pissing me off. And so I stopped
Idiot.
and I finished the Halo event, and then I did stuff for my house and my bar and stuff. But I've enjoyed the gameplay a lot more. I will say I think it's a lot easier in all aspects except the bosses. I think it's easier than Elden Ring, like running around the map. Once you have the dynamics of like, how enemies attack, what they're red, like when they turn red and they're going to do their massive attack, and you learn the spirit attacks, like Dan said, that part has been real easy to me now. Like I can run around no problem, and you learn to sneak, and then you jump down and like take them out and stuff. I think that has been a lot easier in Elden Ring, but I certainly agree with you guys that the bosses are ridiculous. Like I don't think there are very many casual gamers out there. And I say that basically not like our friend group, but like the parents playing games for their kids, or someone trying to get back into gaming. If they picked up Wolong, they would drop it right away. It's too hard for that. And it's just like punishing. Like it's one thing where you say like you got to get good at it and you have to like learn the moves and stuff. But for a casual gamer, dude, there's no way. But I've enjoyed it. I will say I'm trying to understand the story. Like I'm really genuinely trying, and I can't. And I think
I have no idea what's going on.
that's what makes me kind of just say,
Worse
like,
than Elden Ring.
why
in
am
a
I
way.
punishing myself for a game that I don't know what the story is? I mean, obviously I can see good side, bad
And they
side,
have
but
like decent characters
and they're
cutscenes,
cool. They're
too.
cool looking characters. I appreciate that piece of it. But it also, I think what's weird for me about it is and I should say, I don't mean to knock Team Ninja. I do like the game. It's worth playing, especially
I
if the
wanna
Game
shout out Team
Pass.
Ninja specifically. Their animations of the characters are
Beautiful.
phenomenal, and all the different armor and artwork you can have, like, and move set and everything, they did a great job with the just different weapons, different attacks, different deflections, like, it is impressive when you really look into it.
There
Sorry.
was a lot of work, and I don't mean to diminish any of that work. For myself, though, I think that's another frustrating thing is the weapons, though, in the sense that, like, so at this point, I kid you not, I probably have 200 weapons in my inventory, and I'm saying every couple of levels, I stop and I clear them out and I sell them and I salvage them and stuff. I have an abundance of stuff that I'm just like, it's a little too much for me. Like I need
Have you been
I
improving your weapons? Are you at
Yes.
+9?
Yeah, I do. I'm getting like the rank 6 steel now and the rank 7 steel and the rank 7 leather, and I upgrade them when I can, and I understand the elements and like how they work together. It just that part isn't compelling enough because it's too much. It's just like again, having the option to choose between 35 different weapons just doesn't appeal to me. And the same with the armor. And I think what's been frustrating about the armor is I'm at the point there's no easy way to check the base level. So for example, like I have
Yeah.
a 4-star armor right now, and then I just picked up this 1-star armor, and it's only like 10
Yeah, I
value
know what you
lower
mean.
than my current one. So I know if I level it up, it'll be worth more. But I don't know how to compare that to the other star one armor that I have. Like that's the part
To be
that's been
honest, Jose,
frustrating.
if you max out your bond with one of your, co-op summon people, that's probably the best stuff that you'll have. You should honestly just do that. Have you maxed out a relationship with any of them where you
I'm
just
at
keep
like
calling them in?
7 of no, I
That's
you
probably gonna be the best armor you get, and you should just upgrade that and some of their weapons.
well,
So
here's the
just
thing, I'll
heads
tell
up
you
for
right
that.
now, and this isn't a flex here. You know how many tiger statues I have? I have like 300. I've
Well,
only
you gotta
called in
bring them
people
in. You gotta
I've
bring
only
those
called
people
people in
in.
like 4 times. I don't
I
do
know,
that.
I agree. They're worthless. I mean, they're honestly they don't do any
They're
damage.
bait. They're bait,
They
basically.
I mean, they're barely bait too because then they'll just get knocked down as well. But you wanna have them in to get their armor and max out specifically some of them because that will benefit you. But I wanna ask because you're saying how it's just overwhelming and there's too many armor, too many weapons. Why was it different in Elden Ring though? Because you could say the same thing for Elden Ring.
Maybe and but here's the thing, and here's the thing I've thought about that. Elden Ring also, I think, didn't have a great story. No offense, Javis. Like in terms of like my first playthrough, I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like I'm in normal land, I'm in like hell land. I'm fighting these bosses that make no sense. They're very cool. I
I'm in
like them. They're intriguing.
Snowland.
Yeah,
I'm in
I don't know what the hell's
Treeland.
going on. Um, it's similar in that I think that's where I'm just like I want more of a story. I want more of a cohesiveness, or I want the multiplayer piece of it. I think, and so
Which the multiplayer is great though, way better than Elden Ring and Wolong. You can hop in, you just have to start over at the beginning level, but you can hang with that person and it's seamless. Whereas I gotta leave a summon sign. I need to tell you my code.
oh
I need
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
the furling finger. What's going on?
So
I
anyway,
don't
I would just say I'm probably just gonna put a pause on it right now because the truth is, like, when I
I
get
gotta
back
help
from
you
break, it's
guys.
Resident Evil 4, then we're into freaking Star Wars, then we're into Redfall. Like,
Redfall.
I,
I
I
know
have I
it's
have
just
enough to play to keep me very happy. So I'm gonna put it on the burner. I'm not like totally tapping out. I might honestly try a couple more times on that lightning guy tonight, but honestly, if I don't get it in a couple, like I'm out. I'm with
he's
bacon
one
at
of the
this
other
point.
cheaters, Jose. I
But I'm just
forgot
like
about him.
I the point where like he hits one hit on me and I'm dead,
You're
and I
dead.
have strong armor, and I'm like a level
Yeah,
65.
you're dead.
Like I'm just
That's the
like
problem
this
with
is
the game.
ridiculous.
You miss a
I'm
parry, you're dead.
yeah.
It
Anyway,
sucks. God,
rant over.
speaking of story and speaking of all that, so after Wolong, I was like, "What am I gonna play until Resident Evil 4?" Because I don't wanna do Sekiro, I don't wanna do Bloodborne, I can't do
Turnip
another
Boy
Souls
commits
game.
tax evasion.
I went back to one of me and Jay Biz's favorite games, back to the land of
Peppa
Skyrim,
Pig? Oh,
and
Skyrim.
man, guys, I'm sucked back into Skyrim. I was like at like 400 gamer score. I'm almost to 1,000 now. I think I'm gonna get every achievement on PC now, in addition to Xbox and 360. It's an incredible
That's
run.
the
And
legendary edition, the new one.
correct.
The
And on Game Pass, running on my PC. And I have to say this: I think I'm gonna make a video on this as well, reflecting Skyrim and Elden Ring in 2023 and what I love about each of them. And here's basically the gist of it. Skyrim does such a better job with its storytelling. Hands down, we know that. Like there's so many engaging storylines in that game. That's what Skyrim does best along with its exploration. I've discovered today randomly some guy who had jumped off a waterfall that I had never seen before, a body down there with a little note and everything. All the lore. Skyrim is just so good. When I am out in that world running around, that's the same feeling that I remember getting when I played Elden Ring, and that's why I'm like, this is why I love Elden Ring. I don't know what's around that next quarter, and that Elden Ring took to another level. The world of Elden Ring, JBiz, is insane. The more you think about it, it is so much bigger than Skyrim. It's absolutely insane. I don't know how they did that. That makes me appreciate Elden Ring even more. To me, yes, Elden Ring might be one of my favorite games of all time, if not number one now at this point. And here's what I think Elden Ring does better. It is the combat. JBiz, I remember him saying that there's just a little bit more. And you know all that it is, Bogus? Because Skyrim can be difficult, but it's not necessarily fair. Like they'll just overpower you and you'll die. Where in Elden Ring, what that or Souls games that make it fair is you have the dodge mechanic, and it's only set in third person. I think this is the biggest problem the next Elder Scrolls is going to face is with its combat. Because Skyrim, when you play it, the best thing about it is when you're playing it in first person to me and you're using spells or using archery, which is amazing. If you take the time for archery, archery is OP and it's not even funny, and being able to aim and shoot just like in Fallout. Like those are great. And that's why I think Starfield is going to be awesome because I think as a first person shooter, it's going to play very well and being out in space, Mass Effect vibes. I can't wait for Starfield as a shooter in that gameplay. But I'm concerned with Skyrim next. Skyrim needs to basically say, "Hey, this is third person only," and I think it needs to add that dodge or roll mechanic to take it to the next level. Because basically, Skyrim gets everything else so right. The stories, the exploration, the endless possibilities of that world. And I just feel like Elden Ring's combat, like Jabez said, and he told me this a while ago, it is an extra level there, and it is because it is the iframes and the rolling and the blocking, Jabez, like that actually means something. Whereas in Skyrim, you're just like hitting a guy over and over, and it's just oh, just hitting them, and then they block, and then you swipe through, and then that's it. Like it's got some cool animations, but it's not necessarily the most engaging. But I will say I'm still having a blast in Skyrim, guys. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm doing the Dark Brotherhood right now. Like that whole storyline, there's just so many good things content story-wise in Skyrim that I think Elden Ring needs to take a page out of from Skyrim to improve their stories. So, Bogus, let me know what do you like most about Skyrim, and what do you think Elden Ring can take from it, or do you feel like you're always going to be Souls number one?
I think that I've just come to, as I've progressed as a gamer and gotten older, I think I've just come to realize how much gameplay is kind of the number one seller
Gameplay
for
is
me.
king.
It
Yep,
just,
absolutely.
and I don't know that I would have said that in the past. I think story meant so much more to me. But my first time playing through Elden Ring, and I knew how excited you guys remember how excited I was
Oh,
for Elden Ring because
yeah.
I had just
Out of
played Dark
control.
Souls 3, and you guys, and I remember you guys were like, is it really gonna be that great of a game? Is it
But
gonna
how
be
did you
like,
know? You called it. But to be fair, Bogus, we did all buy it, and we were all
yep,
there day
yep,
All
one.
over
Like,
it.
yep,
so, and I'm glad I was. Again, a game of a generation, just absolutely blew. I'm glad it was my first, by the way.
yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better game. But sorry, go ahead.
And so, as I was playing through Elden Ring, I didn't care about the story not making any sense. I didn't care about me the first time through not being able to find like five of the, NPCs to do their side quests because I knew I was going to play it again, so it was like, whatever. What makes Elden Ring so enjoyable and is that it actually requires skill in the combat. So yeah, it's about the role. Yeah, but it's the feeling that it makes you feel like a badass. And I when you get to where you are just, pairing and all the different ways you can attack, right? Whereas Skyrim is amazing in its own right, but you're right, the combat is one dimensional, and you can do a bunch of different builds, and you can go about, how you take enemies down in different ways. And you're right, archery is the best. I mean, I remember when I got the bow you shoot at the sun, and there's all those
Ariel's
different
bow.
bows.
I got to do that.
Yes,
Yep, I got to do that next. The
yeah, yeah.
vampires,
But
Dawnguard.
I love that. But in Skyrim, I loved, like, just you can really create your own character, whereas
I
you don't
want
have
to
to
shout
make
out
stuff up.
Bogus. what I like about Elden Ring, I forgot to say, is make your own character. I love how open, like you can do whatever you want as far as like skills are concerned, and it's
Mhm.
very easy to pick and just level up certain skills. Whereas Elden Ring, you can do that, but you have to go respec. You have to like, it's just I just feel like it's way easier to pick the character or
Yeah.
master character of all kinds of things in Skyrim versus Elden Ring.
Yeah, no, I agree. But and so that's why I think Elden Ring will surpass for sure Skyrim. It's right there with Mass Effect. I mean, Mass Effect is just because Mass Effect was so epic, and to this day we've never seen a game like that where the decisions you make in one game carry into the next game. I don't know if we're going to see a game like that again. I'm sure we will, but it's amazing that it's been a decade since Mass Effect 3, maybe longer. I can't remember when Mass Effect came out. I think it's 15
2011, right?
years, right? Yeah.
2012. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
over a
yeah.
decade.
Yeah, so I remember you and I geeking out at Bear Creek talking about it during homecoming.
And the combat was pretty solid in 3, like,
Uh-huh.
really in
Really
3,
good. Mhm.
and then the multiplayer, remember
Was
that was
just
just
incredible. Yeah. So that's why Elden Ring to me is here and Skyrim is here. And I think you're right. I think that they're gonna have to, because it's so melee based and magic based. They're gonna have to do something to make it better. I do love though in Skyrim that you can switch between first and third. There's just so few
That's a good
games you
point
can
too,
do that, and
exactly,
I
yep,
love that mechanic because there's
yeah,
times where I want to be in third person and
and
there's
there's
times where I
time
want to be
yeah,
in first. And I love that they give me that option. I
that's a
wish
good
more
point.
games would do that. And the other thing, and you've missed out on this, and as much time as you put into Skyrim, I'm telling you, man, the mod system is
I know,
incredible.
it's so
All
tight.
of the things that you can open up. Who stop worrying about the stupid Achievos and go download those mods
Yep.
because you can
There's
do
a Top Gun one,
so
but
many cool. Well, and just the weapons, and I even got back into Fallout a few years ago and just did an entirely new run in Fallout 4, and I did hard code mode, and I had a motorcycle that you had, and you don't get to actually travel on the motorcycle, but it's kind of like your fast travel mechanic.
Yeah,
But it was a blast, man. I those mods systems for those games are just incredible. So that's what I think I'll always remember about Skyrim. And now you see these people doing these Elden Ring mods, and that's the one thing that I'm like, we got to get those mods on console. Like that's the one thing that almost makes me want to go put
I don't know if that
two
would
thousand
happen
dollars
though.
in. I know, I don't think it will, but so yeah, so those are kind of how the two compare. But definitely Elden Ring, I gotta say, Mass Effect Legendary Edition and Elden Ring are like right here.
Yeah,
But just because Elden Ring's so much newer, I think Elden Ring just barely, just because it's
and there's
so much more
so
crisp.
much, like, I'm surprised, like, have you attempted to just, like, clear out the map and, like, clear out every dungeon and stuff? Like,
Hmm.
that's what
Hmm.
I would consider doing because, like, that to me, that's another thing that they've taken from Skyrim. Another thing that I would say that Skyrim does really well though is their environments are very cool as well. In addition to like those caves, all the different spots you go to, very cool. So they're both great games. I'm having a blast It's really cool to go back to it, Bogus, like I said, and compare it to the masterpiece that is Elden Ring, and it being so old and still finding things that I love about both. And maybe I was just thinking, Jose, closing up on this is like, well, where's Fable gonna fall? And I'm hoping the Fable combat in the first few games did have a role and it was simple, but it was fun. And I felt like it was definitely more engaging than the Elder Scrolls series has been. So I'm hoping maybe Fable can maybe find a nice blend between some of the simplicity of Elden Ring, but some of the more difficulty slash skill base that Elden Ring or as like Balgus said brings to it. So closing thoughts, Jose, before we go on
well, I just want to say
to
in the chat, actually, Michipu, he joined, but he came back to us. He actually said Obsidian's Avowed might also give us an idea of kind
yeah,
of what next gen fantasy looks like. I agree. I mean,
yeah,
I
good
think here's
point.
the thing: like these are games of a generation, and Elden Ring is, of course, the newest of these. Not
Yes.
counting like the Wolong piece because it's kind of very specific, like timeline and stuff. But um, it is cool to see what could come from this, right? And I think it's going to be creating that magic formula for the game where like it's very clear from a lot of these games that story isn't always incredibly important. I mean, it would be dope if Elden Ring had a really
Yeah,
awesome clear through
true.
line, if Skyrim had the same thing, but at the same time, like you said, gameplay is king, and so as long as people can
Yeah.
capitalize on that, I think they'll be doing all right, I guess. So, well, we'll see. We'll see what comes.
If Elden Ring's story was more clear cut, then you wouldn't get all those amazing videos from that guy. Is it Vat Vidya or Vat Vidya? Have you guys watched any of his videos? Oh my gosh, it's VAATVIDYA or something like that. You've got to go just watch one Elden Ring video. You'll be hooked. He's got this accent, this English accent, and he puts a serious time into it.
VATT.
It's VAAT. Just do VAAT Elden Ring and just go watch one. He does these something will make me cry or make you cry video, and he just brings in all the lore. If you really want to know, that's why the narrative was up there for narrative was a best narrative, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" But it's people like him who brought to the forefront the story that you really can pull out of Elden Ring. But if you play through it on yourself, you'll never see any of it. But he's really, really good. So
Cool.
Very cool. Well, now I'm gonna have to watch sucked into these Elden Ring videos, guys. Let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. Bogus, you are our special guest. Tell us what you're eating down there in North Carolina. Take your shirt off.
Petey Pablo.
So I asked you guys in the chat in the nerd chat a few days ago about the grilled cheese burrito and how it was. And I think Chance who said it's good, but it's not the quesarito. And that's when I said, man, I missed the quesarito. So I got it.
Wait. The quesarito is not gone yet, is it? I think it's still there. It's not gone.
I don't think it's there, but
no, you can't get the quesarito anymore.
Oh no.
It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while. But anyway, so I went and had a grilled cheese burrito from Taco Bell, and it was good. But man, I made the mistake of trying to eat that thing while I was driving in my car. And I looked like a 5-year-old when I was done, man. I mean, I had it everywhere because it just was falling apart, and that thing's way too big as it is. I looked like my 5-year-old Nixon.
That's what she said.
So I had that. That was pretty good. I actually have not had one of these in a while. But last week I had to go east, so I work to the east. So I never go by a Popeyes because my Popeyes is like 8 miles to the west. So I never go, so anyways, I had to go out to Burlington, which is to the west. And so on the way home, not going up to the counter. Yeah, add it to the list because I got myself a spicy chicken sandwich.
Love the chicken from Popeyes.
And it was very, very good. So those are the two things that stick out. My wife tonight made some enchiladas, and she makes this chicken enchilada casserole. And it's incredible. It's like layered with tortillas. And it has beans and like it's really, really cool. It's like an enchilada, but it's in a casserole dish, and oh my gosh, it's incredible. So shout out to her because she's even with 4 kids and 1 newborn, she still finds ways to cook for me. I don't know how she does it, boys, but I married way above my pay grade.
Oh, we all did, JB. Don't worry.
Speaking of wives, shout out to Nell. Nell said, "Bogus, you've always been a messy eater." And
don't share that. So just so you viewers know, Nell and I taught math together, and so we ate lunch every single day for 12 years. For 12 years, every single day, like her and like 12 other math teachers, we'd all sit down and eat together. So shout out to Nell Jarrett, the math department, because I miss that more than anything.
Oh, you're looking at the chat there, Jose. Sorry. Shout out. B says, speaking of things I made this week, I made a garlic. Oh my gosh, this sounds incredible. A garlic Parmesan shrimp with homemade Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. I also made the girlfriend extremely mad, like only I can. Shout out to B. That sounds absolutely amazing. And Goose said, we all know J Biz. What all of our wives know we ain't caca is what Bogus or what Coach Goose wanted to say to J Biz there. Guys, I'll go next with the best food I had this week. Made the trip to Culver, so I'm interested to hear what Jose said. And I gotta say, Culver's chicken sandwich was one of the most disgusting things I've ever had. Do not get their spicy chicken sandwich. Absolutely heinous. You heard right. Why would I get that? Just go to McDonald's and get a spicy McChicken for $1. Way better. it's solid. By the way, that is an underrated sandwich. We got a Chance was right on. I remember you mentioned that before. That was always solid. But their onion rings and their cheese curds and that burger was absolutely delicious. Allie went ham all over that burger and on the cheese. She stole the cheese curds and just ate the whole large one. I hate to put my wife on the bus there, but she ate all the cheese curds. Delicious. And the kids come with ice cream. I didn't know this, Jose. The kids' meals. You bet your ass I was eating some of their ice cream
Dad
because
tax, baby, all
it was
day.
so good. I got a shout out there. I actually never really got their ice cream much at Culver's, and they're actually known for that. I need to get their ice cream more often. Shout out to Goose. He mentioned that as well, the hack about getting it. So Culver's was good, but severely expensive, Jose. I didn't realize how expensive it was. It's to me, it's like once you're in the mood for it and you're going to go there and you're going to sit there and eat it and enjoy it and just know you're going to spend a lot of money. Similar to Freddy's, similar to Smash Burger.
Mm-hmm.
Allie and I had this discussion. It's like, where would you rank this? To me, you guys, I'm sorry, the Whopper is still the best. Every time I have a
Oh
Whopper
my
and
God,
fries
get out
fries,
of here with the
the
Whopper,
Whopper is
bud.
the best
Top
fast
it.
food
Top
burger. And Goose is right there with me. I know he is. But I was saying, like, if I had to rank them, like, including those other ones, to me, it's still Five Guys I'd rather have over Smash Burger. I'd rather have over Freddy's. I'd rather have over Culver's, over et cetera, et cetera. So that's
Sounds
where
like
it
we're gonna have
lands
to do
for
a
me.
list here soon, bud. One of
No,
these
we've already done
episodes.
this too many times, but
But we didn't
anyway,
have. Okay, just saying.
but the best food I had this week, that wasn't the best food. The best food I had this week. Shout out to Allie. She made us steakums. Have you guys had steakums before? You
I
guys
heard
haven't
of
had
it.
steakums? It's basically like shredded beef, like on a Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Think of like that. Okay.
I'm in.
Go buy some steakums, fry it up on the pan, put your cheese on it, a little hamburger bun. Incredible, so
Isn't
good.
that literally a Philly cheesesteak and a hamburger bun? That
Well,
sounds
it
like what she
basically
made,
is,
bud.
yes. And then I got these. I gotta give a shout out to Walmart seasoned battered French fries, the Great Value brand. Also incredible with the fries and these steakum sandwiches. That was hands down the best food I've had this week. Shout out to Steakums. Shout out to Walmart, a Great Value. Again, seasoned battered French fries. It's like kind of like the curly ones from Arby's, but they're not curly. They're just straight up delicious. So Jose, what was the best food you had this week?
Well, I'll be honest, boys. It's been a king week for me because I'm on spring break this week, and so each day for lunch, it's just like a little bit of treat. Like, okay, what are we doing today? And like I said earlier, I've also been redoing my bar, so it's not like I have full day to just eat and play games. But
Oh,
I
dude, that
started the week with I did go to Freddy's, which I never go to Freddy's, and Goose is actually right.
dude, so good. The
He
Freddy
said it's
sauce.
so expensive. He's totally 100%, and I felt like at the very first time we went. But here's the thing: I had a gift card. I literally had
Oh
a
my
$20
gosh, so
gift card that's been sitting in
you
our
gotta go
junk drawer
crazy.
because Victoria doesn't like Freddy's. And so I was like, today's the day. Went and got me the burger and I got me a fries and I got me a chili cheese fries. I got all three of them because why not?
Oh.
And delightful, but I wasted the whole gift card. so it's
No, you
that's
did
gone.
not waste it.
I
You
didn't waste it, but
enjoyed
it's
it.
gone. Then the next day, like JBiz, I haven't been really impressed with Taco Bell's like seasonal offerings. Like I just
Dude,
feel
I
like
haven't
they're
had Taco
lacking,
Bell in a
bud.
long time, man. I don't think I like it as much as I thought I did back
And
in the
so
day. They've just lost their luster. The menu
yeah,
boggles.
they took away some of the golden items, dude, and they haven't done a good job replacing. Like Bogus is right, the grilled cheese
And
burrito, it's fine, but like a C, it's like a solid C, man. Not a B, not an A, right? Not hurting you, but not helping you.
average.
But I did go to Taco Bell, and it was fine. I was happy with the meal. I wasn't sad or anything. Got the beefy melt burrito, got myself some gorditas, got some tacos. Like it was good. It was fine, but I definitely got my fix for a while of that. And then also today, I also went to Culver's, right? I've never been to Culver's ever. Like I've seen them, but there's never been one near me. And they just opened one about a week ago. It's the same one that Dan went to. A bunch of my students apparently work there. I found out I didn't see any of them today, but I will say they were very friendly. They
Yes.
gave me a free custard because they had made an extra one for the car in front of me. And the lady was like,
Ooh.
"Do you want this?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Is this a trick question?" And she was like, "We made an extra one and we have to throw it away. Do you want it?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll take it." And it was a chocolate one. They added peanut butter to it. It was good. And then I will say the burger was fine. I kind of expected more because of how
What
everyone
did
was
you
talking
get?
about it. I got the double butter burger, and it
See, I
was
got the double deluxe and it was mine was pretty dang good. And it's not the same. They're different. So maybe
oh,
try
okay.
that
Well,
one
I'll
next time.
have to try that next time. It was fine. I thought it was very good. I did get the cheese curds, which I thought were delightful. I thought the fries were not
Really?
good.
Dude, I thought the fries were really good. They impressed me today. I was kind of like
No,
blown
no.
away. I'll catch up on the chat in a second. Go ahead.
No, Goose said, he said Culver's does a great job hiring kids and kids of different needs, which is pretty cool. That's awesome. I like them as a company. I'll definitely go back to them. I just wasn't like blown away. Honestly, in the same way, it's similar to the way I felt about In-N-Out after I never had one. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's a good burger, but it's not like amazing.
Okay, let's just talk about it right now. Okay, guys. Here's the thing about In-N-Out. Completely overrated. But would I go there for the value? Like Goose said, absolutely yes. The double for what is it, like $3 or $4, right, JBiz? Like you can't beat that. Of course, you got to make it animal style to make it more edible, to make it taste better, whatever. French fries, bogus, absolutely heinous. You grew up with this crap. Heinous, just terrible.
Yeah,
Okay?
terrible.
But the value is there. And my biggest complaint right now is it's not worth it to me to wait 30, 40 minutes in that freaking line. Like until I can just drive up and drive through like a normal place, I am not going to go out of my way and wait for In-N-Out. If I'm in Arizona or if I'm in California where it's not in a huge, insane line,
Texas.
yes, absolutely. Wherever, basically everywhere but Colorado and it's 4 locations or whatever it is. Yes, I would gladly get In-N-Out, maybe semi-regularly. But right now, it's just not worth the time. We've got so much going on in the chat with the food. Goose said you have to get pork tenderloin. Why did you waste that on Culver? Sorry, Goose. I didn't know.
Next time.
Deja Vu said butter burger makes a better burger. B said wishing I was making those ribeyes for the 100th. I know we got to figure that out. Goose said is the show 100? No, it's 99. Bacon In-N-Out completely agree. Overrated. We just talked about there. Goose is right. Whopper heavy vages. B says I can make a better smash burger and put the cheese curds on top. Talk about a banger slanger right there, huh? Mitchie Poo was working out. He's in the kitchen. Goose said the best food he had was the steaks from the cow we bought, of course. Goose bragging about that cow that he slaughtered and stacked up on. And
did he slaughter it or he just bought it?
Amen, D. Wally preach. You know I'm right. We're on the same page, Goose, about burgers and food. You know I'm right. Heavy veggies Whopper. There is nothing like the Whopper. Every time you have it, you're like, this is a unique tasting burger. It is so good. You guys are wrong, Goose. These guys are wrong about every other burger. An In-N-Out burger tastes like a Culver's burger. Tastes like what's the other one that everyone likes? It probably tastes like a Whataburger. And the only one that tastes different but not as good is a McDonald's cheeseburger. Like it has a very unique taste, but I wouldn't say that it's like a good burger, but it's definitely unique. So Bogus, clarify your thoughts. You grew up with you've had a bunch of these, so I want to hear some clarifications from you as we close the show.
So Culver's is just that. It's just okay. I would definitely think for burgers, Freddy's is better.
Oh yeah, way better.
Way
too
better.
Expensive though. Just too
expensive. See, I haven't been to Freddy's in a while, so I didn't realize that it got that expensive.
But it's so good.
Yeah. So the place that if you're ever near North Carolina, and I think they have some in South Carolina, Cookout. You got to go to Cookout. And the reason I'm saying for you specifically, D-Wally, is because they flame broil their burgers. It's very similar to Burger King. So I know exactly what flavor you're talking about. And Cookout's burgers are incredible. And Cookout's shakes are better than In-N-Out, Culver's. Like it's
really,
it's not even.
This sounds like the Mecca.
Yeah,
August.
I'm telling you, the Cookout. Like my dad,
road trip out to Cookout.
My dad's been to
pick up Goose on the way.
50 states. He's been to them all, and he's tried all the different places. And he said that Cookout is the best burger he's ever had. So I'm telling you, man, it's its own thing out here, and people love Cookout out here, and it's quick. You get in, you get out, and you can't even go in the restaurant. It's just drive through. It's kind of like Good Times. It's very similar in a lot of ways to kind of how Good Times operates. But anyways, so yeah, and In-N-Out, I like In-N-Out a lot better than you do, D-Wally. But I'm with you on the line thing. It's not one of those things where I'm going to go stand 40-minute line to get In-N-Out,
or even 20-minute. Like, exactly. Yeah. Like it's just about the convenience. Jose, very quick. I don't know if you actually said what the best food you had was, or were you just complaining about?
What was it? So last thing, and then the last thing was today we went to we met my parents for dinner real quick since we're not going to see him for a couple of days, and we went to Chipotle, and I got a barbacoa burrito, and it was fantastic. I got my Chipotle shirt.
Chipotle. Does it say Chipotle away? Chipotle.
It's Chipotle. It's freaking how to say it correctly instead of Chipotle. All you terrible, illiterate.
I say it right.
People.
I'm just making fun of it.
Wait, clarify the right way and the wrong way. I just want to make sure.
This is the correct way.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Incorrect is Chipotle, which is ridiculous. Also, JBiz in the chat, Goose says he
Throttle.
likes Pals better than Cookout. I've never had Pals either, but he said he likes that. I don't know if you've had that.
Do you
I
have
have
that?
not.
Okay.
Pals.
I
PALS.
don't know,
Yep.
man. Yeah,
Yep.
Pals. Thanks,
Yeah, that was
better.
best food. It was a
And
great food
Beastmas,
week.
I do like a Whopper. My waistline, not so much. Yeah, well, it's delicious.
And I'll have a great story next week because we're gonna have a bunch of great food at Disney. But that's all I got for right now.
Gentlemen, this has been the Nerd Chat episode 99. We had a great show talking about Starfield, Spider-Man coming out the same month, a bunch of Elden Ring versus Skyrim debate. We also talked a little bit about Halo, maybe. Oh, I forgot to shout out one back-to-back Warzone wins. I got to give a shout out to the crew on that one. I think it was Snelling, Allen, and Macombi. So shout out that. I don't know if I've ever done that, but you can follow me at Daddy D Wally across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat across all social media, or reach out to us on the Nerd Chat podcast at gmail.com. To our special guest, Jay Bizzle, where can people find you besides in the lands between?
Taking care of 4 children. I
Yep,
don't have
yeah.
time for social media. Sorry, boys.
There you go.
You
And
can talk to him
Chipotle.
through us though.
Absolutely. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you besides Disney?
Yeah, you can find me in Orlando, Florida for the next 5 days, wrangling some children's and in-laws and my wife. But it'll be a lot of fun. You can also find me on Instagram, Chipotle Bear, and on Twitter, Chipotle_Bear. Come join the conversation with us. Been chatting a lot with Joe and Matt Kennedy. Go check out his stream on Twitch. Obviously, Season Gaming and Ains and everybody. Lots of really great stuff. Luke Lore, Xbox Expansion Pass. Like, it's a really great community, man. So feel free to join in. Always feel free to join us on our shows. I know we're usually on Thursday nights.
Thursdays.
We had
Yeah,
to do
we
it
had to
early this
record
week
early.
because I'm unfortunately leaving. Sorry about that, guys. But
And Bacon's already gone. Unless you want episode 0 again with Justy Wally sitting here talking to.
we certainly don't. But we'll be back on a regular schedule next Thursday. So feel free to join us. And of course, tell your friends. Otherwise, thank you for listening. And JBiz, thanks for joining us, buddy. Always great to see you. And you're welcome anytime.
Shout out to JBiz. Shout out to Goose. Shout out to Mitchie Poo. Shout out to B. Shout out to Deja Vu X, Bacon Gaming out
Nell.
there. Keeping up Nell. Oh, wait, I guess Nell's watching as well. Shout out to everyone who stopped by. Thank you so much. Shout out to Matthew Kennedy. Maybe he'll stop by. I tweeted at him and he just liked one of our tweets.
He just did. He said, "What up?" He just joined.
Oh, there he is. Shout out to Matthew Kennedy. Go watch his streams. Except, right, he was doing a great game in Halo Combat Evolved. Now he's doing, I don't even remember. What is that game? Shadow of the Colossus, whatever.
That's a great game, dude. That's a great game.
Move on to the next one. That's my vote. So shout out to Matthew Kennedy as well. And I do want to say, oh yeah, you can pre-download the Diablo 4 beta. To everyone who is interested, you can pre-download it now, I believe, on your system console of choice. As always, Bethesda/FromSoft lovers. See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Have you lost your mind? Where did you get that?
Sporting goods store, honey. Now you listen to me, fat ass. You do what I say and there won't be any problem, okay? Okay. We just drove 2,460 miles just for a little Roy Wally entertainment. The moose says you're closed. I say you're open.
We're not really violent people.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy D Wally across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show, visit nerdchatmedia.com.